Hi there, everyone. Welcome to the next edition of Born to Succeed TV. This is the Coaches Lounge, and we've got a great edition up for you today with a very, very special guest. So first of all, I'm Justin Devonshire.
I'm Irina Leonte.
We're from Born to Succeed, helping coaches, consultants, and experts achieve expert authority and dominate their niche. Now today we have a very, very special guest on the show. This is Christiane Wolf. She's a celebrity trainer, an author, and a gym owner, and a media expert for fitness professionals. Say hello, Christiane, are you there?
Big welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me on your show. Very, very privileged.
Fantastic. Okay, so just as a bit of a background story, a few weeks ago, I heard about Christiane's course, and this was a one-day course she ran in London, and I really wanted to get there. I'd heard great things about Christiane. I'd been following her work for a little bit, and we're over here in Cyprus, and we thought, you know, it would be well worth it when this event came up in London for us to take a trip over there, and I took the time to fly over to London, spend the day with Christiane, and really work on some ideas for an upcoming book that we're going to be publishing. And Christiane has done the same thing. She'll tell you her story in just a minute, but basically she has done this, and I thought it was well worth flying over there to spend the day, and it really was beyond my expectations. We had to get Christiane on the show. We couldn't quite get her to fly to Cyprus, so we would have to do it online instead. So, Christiane, if you want to tell the viewers today exactly what this is all about today and how it's going to benefit them.
Yeah, so well, I wanted to come on today to talk about the course that you did, which is how to publish and self-publish your book and get it into the national press. And it's something, I've been in the national press for the last 20 years. I've been a celebrity trainer, I've written loads of articles, been a columnist. So I've been helping people in the fitness and well-being experts get into the national press. And I've also been helping them get published. I'm directly affiliated with Bloomsbury Publishing, which, if you don't know, they found Harry Potter. They published Harry Potter, and they're a massive company, and they're amazing because they're worldwide. Most publishers are just stuck to one country, whereas with Bloomsbury it's incredible because if your book's published in one country, you can get it worldwide as well. So it's a really amazing opportunity for my clients. But I was actually asked by the Daily Express this year, the beginning of this year, if I could write a book, and they only gave me 3 months. So I had to self-publish because with publishing it takes about a year or a year and a half to get everything to go through. So so I learned the ropes for self-publishing, and it's just been so amazing for my business that I decided to put on a course because for me, for my business, it really, really skyrocketed everything. It got me more sponsorship deals. It got me into over 20 magazines and newspapers. I got serialized in 3. It's got me a TV deal with QVC, and you know, this is in a really, really short space of time. So I only self-published about 4 months ago, and this has all happened in that space of time. So I thought I've got to let people know about this. I want them to know about how to publish, how to self-publish, and how to get themselves out there in a big way.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this opportunity. I think more and more coaches need to be aware of what's possible for them. You seem to have figured it out, and you have a recipe there, a success formula. But and how you've done what you've done, and how you just curious.
Well, you're cutting out a little bit. You've frozen on me.
And benefits of doing it.
Sorry, I didn't hear the end of that.
Sorry, if you can just share with us what are some opportunities, benefits to write a book? Why is it important to have one?
Yeah. Well, you know, this year was the first year I've written a book, and I've always meant to do it, but it's always been in the back burner. I've written quite a few manuals. I've written kind of probably the amount of words that go into a book in manuals and in articles, newsletters, and that sort of thing. And it was only when the Daily Express asked me to do it, I thought, oh, good, this is going to force me to do it now. And whilst I had fantastic opportunities before this, it really made me realise actually you are perceived with so much more value when you are an author. You know, when I now write to journalists, if I say I'm an author, they perceive me as being much greater authority, and it doesn't really make sense because, you know, all that information has been in manuals, it has been, you know, in articles, but saying you're an author, people suddenly respect you so much more. So that's one thing. And, you know, when you've got that you're an author on your website, again, people will be drawn to you. They'll be drawn to your expertise and your knowledge, and they will value what you're saying more because you say you are an author. And then it can lead to other opportunities, such as I've had with sponsorship deals. So I'm getting a passive income, a proper passive income. I really don't have to do anything for that. And opportunities in book sales, but also, you know, it's also another lead to your website or to your product that you might be selling alongside your book. So, you know, a lot of people have a book and then the extension of their book is on their website, where they might have a monthly membership with a similar theme to their book. So loads of different reasons why, but I do think the main reason is you're suddenly, you go from there to there as the expert. You're not just because if you have a website, nobody thinks that that's special anymore. When websites first came out, they did, but nobody thinks that's particularly special or unique. Or, you know, you might have a website that sells exactly the same information as a book, but no one's going to go, oh wow, you know, anyone can do that. Whereas if you're an author, you are suddenly much more respected. So that means you can command more money per client, it means you'll get more clients, it means you can sell future products, and so on.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned all that, especially being able to put the prices up, because that's one of the big things we believe, you know, with what we do, is that most trainers and coaches out there just don't charge anything near what they're worth for changing lives.
Yeah.
And the thing is, so anything that can help them get how to put their income higher, we think is a good thing. So I'm glad you mentioned as well the sponsorship opportunities. I loved that part of the day we had together. That was learning about that stuff. Hopefully you'll share some of that stuff about getting sponsors and getting things paid for.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in just a second. First, I would just like to bring up, you know, something I hear some people ask quite a lot is they'll say, that sounds fantastic, it sounds really good, but I haven't got the time.
Yeah.
Where are you going to find the time to write a novel or a book?
Yeah.
What would you kind of tell people who say that?
Yeah, I hear that all the time as well. Well, as you know, on the course I teach you techniques on how you can actually write your book in 2 weeks, and these are proper tried and tested techniques. They're not fluffy techniques. They are, and they don't mean that your book won't have so much good content. It's just getting the content out there in a very quick way. You can also get ghostwriter, so if you can get somebody else to write your book for you. And actually, you might be surprised to know, I did tell you this on the course, but your viewers might be surprised to know that 70% of books are written by a ghostwriter. So, you know, that doesn't mean that you have to take your personality away from it. You would still offer the content and show the ghostwriter how you are through your personality, but they would construct sentences for you in a better way, and they would, you know, most people write far too much, so most people's chapters would probably be a few thousand words more than they need to be, so your ghostwriter can condense that for you. Really, writing a book doesn't have to take time. I wrote my book in 2 weeks, but my book was a lifetime work. So, you know, I did have lots of articles, lots of e-zines I'd written. I had a couple of kind of small manuals that I offered people on boot camps or personal training clients, and it was just putting that all together in 2 weeks, and I did it.
Right, so less than 2 weeks, you believe anyone, any beginner coach can write their first piece of content and put it out there in less than 2 weeks with your system and your formulas of doing it.
I think so. You know, you have to be committed in those 2 weeks. I literally did write for about 12 hours a day. I was morning, noon, and night. I was completely focused in on it. I guess it also depends on whether you're a details person or, you know, so everyone has kind of different energy about how they work, and some people may want to spend a long time on something. But if you don't, if you really don't have much time and you want to have a laser-focused way of doing it so that you can get it done in 2 weeks, then absolutely I've got the formula for you.
Okay, great, awesome. Well, important point you brought up was the fact that it doesn't have to be too long. Obviously, it depends how long you want it to be, but it doesn't have to. And I know, for instance, just to share, we've written our own book on a plane as we were flying from Cyprus to London.
Yes.
4 hours.
4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, 4 or 5 hour flight. We wrote our book between the two of us. And not like a huge dictionary, it's just like a booklet, but I believe that it's enough to get started.
And again, it was a lot of stuff, same thing, a lot of stuff compiled we had already. It wasn't like from start to finish. We had stuff we took a little bit from this manual, a little bit from this article. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when you're on a plane journey, you have no distractions, do you? You can't have the internet, so you don't have Facebook or Twitter. You can't email anyone. So you really, that's a very intense time. And I think that's really true of the way we live. You know, we could all write a book in 2 weeks or a few hours, as you've shown, but we've just really distracted most of the time. So somewhere like a plane is perfect.
Great. So as long as you're focused, just set something, then you can get it done in 1 weekend, maybe even. All right. So another, I think, common objection or myth people is, all right, but there's no money in selling a book, right? Like, unless it becomes like international bestseller, you sell like millions of copies. There's no real money in selling the book. So, what do you say about monetizing a book?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, there is money in selling a book. I'm going to be selling my book on QVC, and their average sales are £1,000 a minute. So you know, that's pretty good for me. But yes, really, when the big thing I teach on the course is, you know, having what's the end game of the book? Is it a book just to drive sales for the book, or are you thinking about the bigger picture? So have you got something behind the book? So a lot of people will write the book as a way to get people onto their website. So with my book, I have a downloadable CD that they have to go onto my website, and then when they go onto my website, they then have to log in, and then I get their email and my data capture, and then I then promote my other products on the website. So, you know, that's a really good way of getting people on your website and selling future products, really. But like I said, with sponsorship deals, you know, sponsorship deals can be incredible. I've also been given a column in a magazine from when I've written my book. So they wrote about my book in their magazine, and they loved it, and they said, would you like to now be a columnist? And to be a columnist, you can get paid quite well. You can get introductions to TV shows and radio shows, which you can get paid well for as well, and then celebrity clients and endorsements. So there are a lot of spin-offs from the book. There are a lot of ways of making money from the book, and I would really recommend anyone to do it, because if you really put your head to it, you'll probably write it very quickly. The information will come out of you because it's something you've been doing for years, or you've studied for, or you've read a million books on the subject. You know, we all have that information stored in us. So, yeah. Did that answer your question? Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. So basically, as far as I get from you, the big opportunity, first of all, it gives you that expert status, so you can put author on your business card, and obviously gives you that boost of confidence. And secondly, which obviously attracts more clients to you. And secondly, you can use it as a lead magnet, what we call like a magnet to attract more prospects. So you can put your links, build up your database as you get people to opt in, and then market to them in the future forever. So I think that's a really, really important point that our viewers need to keep in mind when considering writing a book or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you mentioned there's different ways. I remember on the course you talked about, like I said, the end game. So different ways of publishing, because there's, you know, like I said, different goals for different trainers and what they want to get out of the book. So could you maybe give them a quick recap right now of the main avenues they can take, and maybe a couple of pros and cons of each one?
Yeah, definitely. So you've got self-publishing, which is where you literally write the book yourself, you print the book, you get it copyrighted, you get it edited, you get it designed, you get the cover designed, the back cover designed, and you then have to pay for printing costs. You could also self-publish virtually, so you can self-publish on Kindle, and then you don't have to have so much of the design and the print costs, obviously. Or you can do something with Amazon where they print per book. So instead of you paying for like 1,000 books, you can sell per book and they print per book, which is a bit more costly. You can do that with other sites as well, like Lulu.com. So the advantages with self-publishing are that you're your own boss, you design it the way you want it designed, you call it what you want it to be called, and you are in charge of where it's sold and how you want it to look. You also get it out in the public very quickly, so you can get it out as quickly as you want. If you know, printing time normally is about 2 weeks, and if you write it in 2 weeks, look, you've got it out in a month, or if you're doing it on Kindle, even sooner. The disadvantages are it's a lot, you know, it's costly. You have to have the money to print. You could do it per print sales, as I suggested, but the profit margins are smaller. The other advantage of self-publishing is that your margins per book are bigger than if you published. So if you published, they do absolutely everything for you apart from write the book. So they will market it for you, they will print it, they will edit it, they will copyright it, they will design it, they will probably even name the cover for you, and you get all the money up front for the first, usually for the first 5,000 books. So you would kind of get anything between £3,000 to £5,000 for the first 5,000 books. So that's great. You know, you have nothing to worry about. There's no risks. There's no risk involved. However, per book sales, you only get £1 per book, whereas if you self-published, you can get anything from maybe £3 to £6 per book. So yeah, you have to make a big decision on that, of whether, you know, you have the marketing ability to get it out there yourself in a big way, or if you feel a publisher will do that for you, and what's going to work better. And we talk a lot about that on the course, on what's better for your business. And my courses are, they're smaller numbers, so I can talk to everybody individually about what I feel that the direction is they should go.
Okay, so the next course you mentioned is going to be online on the 7th of October for 6 weeks, every Tuesday at 1:45 p.m. GMT time. Is that right?
That's right, yeah. Yeah, UK time. So you get a nice chunky manual with that, and you get live webinar with me each week, and you also get live Q&A with me. So anything you want to ask me personally, I will be there for you. And as I said, it's a small course, so we can, you know, it's more like mentoring for 6 weeks.
Okay, great. And if people want to find out more about that, they can just get in touch with you.
Yeah.
Or email or something.
Yeah, so my website is celebritytrainercoach.com, and if you go onto the events page, you'll see all the information about the course on there. As I said, it's online, so anyone from all around the world can go to it, and it is also recorded. So if you can't make it live, everything will be recorded for you, and I will answer questions via email. So yeah, have a look at my website, celebritytrainercoach.com, and my email is info@celebritytrainercoach.com.
Great. Okay. So the next thing I wanted to talk a little bit about was, as we said, the sponsorship. So I know this is a big topic, and there's a lot of really good, juicy stuff here. So are you able to give maybe a couple of small tips to the viewers right now on some ways that they can, you know, get a boost with covering the costs for things, or getting what the kind of the opportunities for sponsorship actually are with a book, and what great things they can do with that?
Yes, so what I teach on my course is how you can sell 1,000 books before you even print it, sometimes before you've even written it, and this is via sponsorship deals. I won't go into the detail of that because it's quite long-winded, and you know, I teach all of my course of how to sell 1,000 books. But what I would say is, when you write your book, you probably will recommend something along the way. I recommend quite a few things. I recommend juices. I recommend facial products without chemicals in. You know, I'm wearing clothes in my book, so all those things I've got sponsorship deals from the fitness clothes to the normal clothes, to hair and beauty products, and to even kitchenware, even kitchen applications. So have a real think about when you write your book. I would say just approach a lot of people, but just think of getting about 5 key sponsorships, and they will more than likely pay for your first batch of books, so that, you know, there's no risk for you, there's no print costs for you, which is amazing, because that can cost thousands of pounds. And then you can have an ongoing future relationship with them. If you get into magazines, you can show them. So say, for instance, Nike, they pay for a one-page advert in a newspaper, and it costs them £150,000, which is about what the advertisement costs are for a national newspaper in the UK. So say you see that, and then you're in the newspaper from your book, you can show them that you're wearing their trainers, and would they like to sponsor you? And you know, you can ask for a really decent amount because they've already paid £150, and the people who read the features are much higher than the people that read adverts. You know, that's why they bought the paper, to read the features, not the adverts. So it could be even a higher perceived value.
That's one great strategy too. So for instance, on our book, on our cover, we actually have a photo of ourselves working MacBook laptop.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a way to get potentially Apple as a sponsor? Yes, what would be the best approach to do that?
Yeah, definitely. So what they like hearing is what your marketing ability is. So how many Twitter followers you have, how many Facebook followers you have. This doesn't have to be everything, but just maybe one thing. So how many people read your e-zines, where is this book going to be promoted or advertised? And sometimes, you know, for me, for instance, I didn't approach sponsorship companies till after I got the press. So I ordered 200 books initially. I then got the press from that. I've then approached the sponsorship deals after that to kind of show them, look, this is what I can do for you. Some people I know, though, I know one lady, she wrote, she got 1,000 books paid for before anything with all her sponsorship deals. So yeah, so they're looking for your marketing ability and how you can help them reach a bigger audience through your book cover. But I did notice that photo, and that's the first thing I said. It's like, oh, good sponsorship deal there.
So any coaches listening right now, go and buy an iMac and tell people that we sent you, okay? And wear Nike stuff as well. And Christian sorted that out, okay? All right. So one more question. What are one of the biggest breakthroughs for me coming to this course was, as I told you on the day, you know, I invested wisely in coming over and learning, and I realized after the first couple of hours, if I had not got the information from you for that small investment, I could have seen a few things I would have gone and done and probably paid thousands for, and the wrong things. Mm-hmm. So, without the right information, we can easily go off track, and the cost would be huge of mistakes. So, in something like this, publishing a book, what would you say are maybe the biggest mistakes that you see people do? What they try and do this on their own without the right information, without going to someone who's already done it, like yourself. What are the 3 big mistakes they tend to make?
I would say the 3 biggest mistakes are the cover of the book. So the design of the book, because the cover of the book usually is the thing that people would do last, and they would take the least time on, because they think that what's in their mind is much more interesting, and they don't realize that the power of the front cover of the book is probably the most important selling point. And especially when you buy from things like Amazon, and it's a little thumbnail that they're seeing, they need to be drawn in by that. So the cover of the book, the title of the book is incredibly important as well. So with the title of the book, it needs to reach your target market, it needs to reach an emotion. People need to think, yes, I really need that. It needs to not be too long, so 5 words maximum, really. And then the third thing is probably, well, there's lots of things, but I guess an important thing to say is the book that you're writing, can it be extended into more than one book? Because we have so much information in our minds, we kind of feel like we've got to get everything out there. But actually, people's absorption isn't as good as we would imagine, and it might be too much for them. And also, there might be a really good opportunity for you to write a second book. And normally, the second book sales, if the first book's done well, the second book sales are much better, because you've already created a bit of hype around you and an audience, and your audience figures would grow for the second one. So don't put too much in the first book. About 40,000 words is what you want a book to be. So not too much, and think about just saving a little bit for the second book.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for sharing. So I believe we've reached the end of the show now. Do you have a final message for the viewers, one key takeaway that you'd like them to leave with?
Yes, everyone should write a book. I know everyone's confidence levels are different and everyone's time levels are different on this, but it's completely changed my life in such a short period of time, and I would love for you to be able to do this as well, because you've got the information in there. If you're an expert, you know your stuff, so why not?
Okay, great. So if you want to find out more and you want to do this for yourself, and you want to take all these tips to the next level and have Christiane by your side, taking you through exactly the same process she's done in such a small amount of time. Again, the dates were October the 7th at 1:45 p.m. London time.
Yes.
6-week webinar. Again, can you just remind us again who exactly this course is for?
Yeah.
And why they should do it.
This course is for anyone who's an expert, so fitness, well-being, genre, but anyone who is an expert in their field, who wants to have passive income, who wants to gain more clients, who wants to have a higher paying client, and who doesn't want to kill themselves over marketing anymore, and they just want to be out there in a much easier way and have people filter into them in a much more efficient and quicker way. So yeah, that's it. And the course is about how to publish and self-publish your book and get it into the national press.
Okay. And again, how can they get hold of you and get started with that?
Yes, so the website is celebritytrainercoach.com and the email is info@celebritytrainercoach.com, and all the information's on the events page.
Awesome. So guys, go to celebritytrainercoach.com or email Christiane directly. We strongly recommend extensive knowledge and expertise in this field. So if this is something you're looking to do, you better seek out for help, for mentors, because every coach has to have their own coach. You cannot possibly know it all. So go there and look for someone who's been there, done it, and learn from their success, but also from their mistakes. So then you don't have to figure it out all by yourself, which would cost you time, money, and energy. So go for a coach. It's cheaper, faster, and easier, definitely.
Yeah, I wanted to say that actually, just one last thing. The research time that it will take you to figure all this out will be endless. There's so much information out there, and it's quite confusing. And unless you're learning from somebody who's actually done it, both publishing and self-publishing, it will take you an awfully long time to gather all that information together. So this is just a much easier way of doing it.
That's right, and after all, time is the most valuable resource we have, so go through the easier and cut through the overwhelm and the confusing information that's out there.
Okay, so again, that's Christiane Wolf, celebrity trainer, gym owner, media expert for fitness professionals, and the same principles apply for other coaches too. So again, big thank you to Christiane for coming on the show today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And and then look out next time, guys. We'll have more great guests on the show for you. But for now, go and seek out Christiane if you want more help with this. And then we will see you next time.
It's been a pleasure to have you.
Thanks. Bye.